Howdy and welcome back, students. We're going to take a trip back in time just like we did last week for our lesson on the music of around Thanksgiving, which had been the early colonial American period of time. And instead, we're going to go a little farther back. We're going to go 400 years ago and think about what would people have been doing for fun around that time. So maybe when you get home after school, what do you like to do? Do you like to watch TV, or maybe you like to play video games or get on your tablet or your laptop? Well, 400 years ago they did not have any of those things. They didn't have electricity in houses either. They didn't even have light bulbs. So if you wanted to stay up late at night and read a book, you had to do it by candle or some other fire source because they didn't have electricity in houses. So, what did people do for fun? Well, back in the day, people still liked to do a lot of the same that we do now. They like to watch we would turn on the TV and watch shows. They would have to go to a theater, and that's where there's a stage and people can act and perform on it, or people might go to concerts. And sometimes around this time, they might go to the opera. And operas are like a theater, so a show where people are acting meets singing and orchestra music at the same time. Kind of like if you went to go see a musical nowadays in the theater, this would be the same thing, but this was a big deal. This was lots of money. So I want you to think of the last superhero movie like Avengers that came out. Big, huge amounts of money. Everybody goes to see it. That was opera back in the day. Everybody wanted to go see what new opera was playing at their theater. Now, why don't we find out where this was happening? Because right now we're looking at Soulsbyville School in California in the United States. And 400 years ago, the United States was not the United States. The only people living here would have been Native American people. So we learned about European colonists coming across the Atlantic Ocean and colonizing this area of the United States. That has not happened yet. So right now, only Native American people live in, it's not even called the United States yet, live here. So we're going to cross the Atlantic to where opera was born. We're going to look here. Opera was mostly born in Italy. So we're looking at Europe. These are all these countries right here, including the United Kingdom, including Norway, Sweden, and Finland up here. And opera was largely born in Italy, right down here. And remember, opera is characterized by singing and music from the orchestra and acting at the same time. It's like a musical nowadays. And operas are still being composed and performed. So we're going to take a look at a modern opera, or not a modern opera, but an opera being performed nowadays. So largely born here in Italy, and then it got so popular it started spreading to Germany with German operas, France, Spain, and even in England we had operas in Austria. Operas kind of spread all over Europe and became the big new thing. It's like theater, but everybody gets to sing and there's music the whole time. So I'm going to stop talking, and instead let's take a look at what opera is. So we've walked to the theater, and you can see how big this area is. We even have balconies up here where people can sit. And let's remember, if it's 400 years ago, there are no lights. Instead, these would be candles lighting the theater. We have this big curtain. That's where people are going to perform. Now, what's all that music you can hear? Well, it's the orchestra. Remember, if you go to a movie theater nowadays, they have speakers, and that's what's playing the music and the sound, but no electricity back in the day. So instead, you have to have a full orchestra right in front of the stage. So that's the stage right there. You have your full orchestra here ready to play all the music and sound effects. And of course, you need a conductor. Your conductor would stand there and conduct the orchestra. So they're working with the actors on the stage. They turn around and they're referencing where the actors are and kind of helping the musicians know when to play and when not to play. And you can hear right now, they're just getting ready to play. They're called warming up. They're getting their instruments ready to play, and they are waiting for the show to begin. And how does the show begin? Well, the conductor comes forth, and he gets the band or the orchestra ready to play. We have our first violinist tuning the rest of the orchestra. Our conductor comes to the podium. He's telling the orchestra, we're about ready to play. And as soon as the music starts, that's when your opera begins. So let's begin our opera today. Confused right now. They're not speaking English. They're singing in, I believe, Italian. And operas nowadays, they don't translate. That means they don't change it from Italian to English, as they want to keep it original. So most operas are, unless they were composed in England, most are in different languages, and they do not translate it for you. So it's kind of like watching a foreign movie. Did you notice that they're singing? But it's almost like they're just speaking to each other. That's because, for the most part, operas are sung and have music almost the entire time. They never speak like I am right now, like you'd speak normally. Instead, they sing most of their dialogue. That's the spoken words. Let's take a little more look.
Voglio dirti, un mio pensier profondo, un freddo cane. Ed io, Marcel, non ti nascondo, che non credo al sudor della fronte. Ho viaggiato le dita, ad ancor ne tenessi murato, quella grande acciaia che muore di riservato. Che sciupa troppo e in fretta dove l'uomo è fascina e la donna è valore. L'uno brucia in un soffio e l'altro sta a guardare. Ma tanto qui...
It's kind of like going to watch a movie, huh? And remember, they had no TVs, they had no movie theaters, so if you're going to watch an opera, this is a big deal. You don't get to watch shows very often. Because whatever is playing or whatever the theater troupe is performing, that's what you go and watch. So watching these shows was very special. Hey, why don't we, speaking of acting, switch over to our next activity? Hey students, so this week, since we're talking about musical theater, I thought I could introduce to you Mrs. Dooley.
Hi everyone!
Mrs. Dooley's my wife. We are married. I'm the music teacher and she's the theater teacher. She has been in several plays and she has taught theater, that's acting, to students around your age and even younger in some cases. So Mrs. Dooley's going to help us a little bit with theater. Because I'm the music guy, I don't know theater all that well.
But so, I do.
Exactamundo. And Mrs. Dooley's going to lead from here on out. Mrs. Dooley.
All right. Hi, everyone. So, when you're doing theater, your body is your instrument. Just like when you're doing music, you're playing an instrument. When you're doing theater, you're using your body. So, it's very important to warm up your body, just like you would warm up your instrument. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a big stretch. Everyone stand up and go ahead and do this with me. Stretch up to the sky really, really high. And then we're going to fold in half and we're going to drop down like this. And we're going to wiggle out everything and really, really get nice and relaxed down here. And then you're going to slowly roll yourself up. And now don't you just feel so much more relaxed and ready to go. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our blood moving, and we're going to do what I like to call shakedown countdown. So we're going to be counting down from 10 to start with. Then we go to 5, then we go to 3, and then we're going to be at 1. Okay? Then we're going to shake here, 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 and here. All right, so we're going to start counting down from 10. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, what? Oh, you're right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1. And give it one leg shake.
Shake.
Oh, now don't you just feel ready to go? All right, now that our bodies are all warmed up, it's very important that we warm up our voice, because in musical theater, not only are you using your voice to talk, but you're using your voice to sing. So you want to make sure it's good and warmed up and you're ready to go. So we're going to do what we call vocal sirens. So basically you're going to take your voice and you're going to go up and down all through the range. Now it's very important when you do this that you're not screaming, but that you're breathing properly so that you can get good volume without hurting your vocal cords. So when you breathe in, you want to make sure you're breathing all the way down into your tummy. So your tummy should get nice and big when you breathe in, like this. You don't want it to go into your chest like Mr. Dooley did. You want it to go into your tummy. So breathe. Put your hands on your tummy and you can feel your tummy getting bigger as you breathe in. Ready? There we go. All right, so we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to start our voice really high and go all the way down. So take a deep breath in. Now we're going to start from the bottom and we're going to go back up. Ready? All right, so let's do that a couple more times. Start from the top. Ready? Now we're going to start from the bottom. Let me try that again. All right.
I think we're ready for our activity. We're going to switch to that now. All right, so I get to teach this next one because it's music related. You guys will remember steady beat. Steady beat is the beat of a song and it never changes. It just keeps continuing on. That's how we can dance to music. When the beat is steady, we know where we can put our feet when we're dancing. So here's what we need to do for this particular game. We're going to pat twice on our knees and then pat twice on our shoulders. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. And believe it or not, we're making a steady beat. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't speed up. And for this game to work, we cannot speed up or slow down because we got to think on our feet. And if you can't think quick enough, we do another round because the other person won. So why don't you try this with us if you're not already? So we go knee, knee, shoulder, shoulder. Knee, knee, shoulder, shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, stop. Okay. Why don't I let Mrs. Dooley explain this theater game?
All right, so this is helping you exercise your brain and get yourself into a rhythm that's really going to help when you're doing musical theater because a lot of times you're singing. And it also helps you think on your feet, which is also very important in theater, especially if someone forgets a line and you need to help get things back on track, which happens more often than you might think. All right, so this game is called concentration. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use that steady beat rhythm and we're going to choose a topic. For this one, we're going to do animals.
Animals.
And every time we hit a beat, all right, so every time we're here, you're going to say a different animal and we go back and forth.
I think we'll do a demonstration.
We'll do a
game.
demonstration.
We'll do a few so you can play it at recess.
All right. Ready?
Or with your family.
Or with your family.
Can you
yes.
sing it for us?
I sure can. All right. Concentration now beginning. Pick a rhythm nice and easy. Topic is animals. Dog.
Cat.
Mouse.
Bird.
Squirrel.
Frog.
Lizard.
Cougar.
Tiger.
Rat.
Cheetah.
Octopus.
Goldfish.
Oh,
no!
So Mrs. Dooley won that
I
round because
won.
I couldn't think quick enough. I think for this next one, what do you think a good topic might be?
What about food?
Ooh, food. This time I'm going to start it. It's concentration now beginning.
Pick
a rhythm nice and easy.
Topic
Because,
food.
okay, Mrs. Dooley's going to start it because I'm never going to remember that. I'll start the first one.
I'm sure you
now.
guys already have it down.
Here we go.
All right.
Concentration
now
beginning.
Pick a rhythm nice and easy. Topic is
food. I'll go first. Mac and cheese.
mashed potatoes.
Garlic.
Chicken.
Peanuts.
Cashews.
Oh my god.
I won again.
Picked the one I was going to pick every time.
Really?
We're having a mind meld. All right, we're going to do a new one. We're going to do movies.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a tough one.
Here we go.
I think Mr. Dooley's going to win.
And concentration now beginning. Pick a rhythm nice and easy. Topic is
movies. Walk to remember.
Jurassic Park.
Cinderella.
Star Wars.
Princess and the Frog.
Star Trek.
Lion King.
No, she slowed down.
I slowed down.
I win that one. This is a fun theater game. You guys can play with your friends at recess. Maybe you can play with your family.
And
You
remember,
can even play it over Zoom.
you could play it over Zoom as long as you don't have any cheating other people you're playing with.
That's true.
Why don't we switch back to opera? So let's go back to opera and learn a little bit more about that.
All right. Welcome back. Now we're going to learn just a little bit more about opera, and we're going to learn two words. The first is an aria. The second is a recitative. And there's two parts to opera. Arias are when we kind of stop the plot. The plot is the story, so we stop the story, and one character in the story gets to kind of just speak and sing for themselves, and you usually learn a little bit more about the character. In arias, they get to show off the singers and how good they are. So arias are kind of the show-off ones, and the recitative is where it's more like spoken. They're singing, but it's more speaking, and they're moving the story forward. They're telling the story between characters. It's usually between a bunch of characters. So it's like a conversation if people were always singing. So why don't we look at an aria to start from? This is from The Magic Flute, written by Mozart. And we probably heard that name before. He was a famous musician and composer. And he also wrote operas. So let's take a look at his opera. This is The Magic Flute, the Queen of the Nights aria. So it's only her singing, and she is showing off, because arias are meant to show off these incredible singers. Let's take a look. Saying, oops, woo. So as you saw, she was singing the whole time, and it was really showing off her vocal range. She was all over the place singing very high. So she's one of those sopranos we learned about last time. That's aria. it shows off one person, and it's kind of their chance to sing. Now we're going to look at the recitative. We're going back to the opera we were singing before, which is La Boheme. I actually played this in college, and this is the ending of it that makes me cry every time I'd be playing in the orchestra because it's really sad. So I'm going to warn you now, this ending is very sad. We're going to learn about the recitative. That's when people are, it's like they're talking, they're singing, but they're moving the story forward. And everybody's kind of talking back and forth, but you're going to notice they're still singing. And since it's in a different language, I'm going to have to explain a little bit to you. This is our main character, and this is the girl that he fell in love with along the way. But the sad part is they're all artists, and they don't make very much money. And she got sick, and they can't really afford to get a doctor. So they're all waiting to see if she's going to be all right. Unfortunately, she is not going to be all right, and she passes away at the end. So it's a very sad ending. Let's take a look. We have our recitative. We're going to see them talking all back and forth. Sorry to end on a sad ending, especially this opera. It's devastating, but it's a really good opera. Let's take a look.
Che vuol dire? Quell'andare e venire. Quel guardarmi. Così! Coraggio!
Guys, I always get teary at that. So It's important to remember this is just a play that didn't actually happen. It ends on a sad note, but we have lots of sad stories. They're important to watch. So we can see the orchestra, they're standing up to take their bows. And we have our actors. Look, they're all fine. They come up and take their bows at the end as well. Well, guys, we're going to have to end here. We're going to continue this little unit on musical theater since Mrs. Dooley is up here and ready to help me since she's Miss Theater Teacher. I'm Mr. Music Teacher. We can kind of combine our talents and be able to teach you guys about musical theater. And this is our earliest form of musical theater that starts in Europe. It is called opera, but we're going to get into a lot more besides that. Until then, I will see you guys next time for some more music and some more acting.